Catch me if I fall. Catch me if I fall.
Good evening and welcome to the finale of the Good Friday action from the EFL Championship as the title race takes another twist and turn towards the end, and match week 39 comes to an end tonight. After it started at lunchtime, it ends this evening at Vicarage Road as Watford take on, at the start of the day, league leaders Leeds, who have dropped to second. Could have been dropped to third if Leicester had won at lunchtime, but they fell to Bristol City at lunchtime this afternoon. Ipswich got their 1-0 narrow win over Blackburn to take top spot for the moment, but Leeds can respond. If they get all 3 points tonight against Watford, they can take top spot once again. Clamouring of results this afternoon as West Brom and Millwall played at a 1-1 draw at the Den. Cardiff beaten 2-0 by Sunderland. Coventry 3-1 winners away at Huddersfield. Hull beaten at home, a shock defeat to Stoke City by 2-0. Norwich came from 1-0 down to beat Plymouth by 2-1. Preston made it easy against bottom of the league Rotherham, winning by 3-0. QPR came from behind against Birmingham in that relegation 6-pointer as QPR won by 2-1. Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea played at a 1-1 draw and the same scoreline at St Mary's as playoff chasing Southampton drop points at home to Middlesbrough. And Blackburn, of course, beaten 1-0 at home by title-chasing Ipswich, who lead the way at the moment. But these two might have a difference in what might be the table at the end of the day. Leeds will be open for 3 points. Watford want to have their say in the title race, saying that they cannot have a direct impact, but they can affect Leeds' hopes of lifting the championship trophy in 7 weeks' time. To tonight's teams, and we start with Tom Cleverley's Watford side as the interim boss picks Daniel Bachmann in goal, who captains the side tonight. Gone for a back five with Ryan Andrews, Ryan Porteous, Francisco Ciralta, Matthew Pollock and Jamal Lewis in a back five. A midfield of Edu Kayembe, Tom Dele Bashiru, Yasser Asprilla and Vakun Issoufbayo in a midfield four, with a leading line of Emmanuel Dennis in a 5-4-1 formation. On the bench for Watford is Hammer, Morris, Kone, Ince, Chakvadste, Livermore, Graves, Rajovic and Martins. For Daniel Farker's travelling Leeds United, Ilan Melier starts in goal. A back four of Archie Gray, Joe Roden, Liam Cooper the captain, and Sam Byram make up the back four. Ethan Ampadu and Glenn Kamara in midfield, with the attack of Jorginho Rutter. Dan James, who had a disappointing midweek on international duty, he's alongside Crescencio Somerville and Patrick Bamford, who starts up front for Leeds. On the bench for the travelling Leeds United side are Darlow, Firpo, Cresswell, Shackleton, Anthony, Crew, Piero, Gelhart and Joseph. Kick-off at Vicarage Road, where Leeds can head back to the summit of the championship table, is on the way next. Good evening and welcome to the EFL Championship Live, the race for promotion. 2 out of a possible 4 teams chasing promotion automatically will get there, will get Premier League status once again. And it's a real tight battle between At the moment, Ipswich, Leeds and Leicester swapping positions all afternoon. Leicester wanted to go back top of the table at lunchtime, denied by Bristol City. Ipswich had the chance as well, following Leicester's failure to do so. Ipswich did get the win over Blackburn away from home in a tough stadium at Ewood Park, with Blackburn now trying to avoid relegation themselves. But it's Leeds that will have the final say tonight. Leeds against mid-table Watford. Watford, who are bang average mid-table, 14th, have nothing to play for, not threatened by relegation, and certainly not pushing for promotion or the top six. Leeds United, they've a lot to play for, and they want top spot back. They had it at the start of the day, they want it back, but they need 3 points to do so. Watford in their traditional yellow and black kit, Leeds in their all-white home kit, both in their home kits, and both want the points. As Watford get us underway for the final of all 12 Championship games this Good Friday in this dramatic afternoon of action. Some shock results around the ground, some big dramatic moments, and it all comes to a finale here at Vicarage Road, in just on the outskirts of the capital. Leeds United in very good form, and they'll be hoping to continue that run and get another set of 3 points here tonight. 4 wins in the last 5. Leeds unbeaten in those 5. Watford, on the other hand, have just 1 win in their last 5. Lost 3 out of those 5, drawing 1, winning 1. So very different veins of form. But that call comes to an end. 90 minutes where all that goes out the window, and it comes down to your performance on the day. Leicester, as we know, they weren't in the best run of form coming into their game earlier this afternoon. And they didn't perform anywhere near enough to beat Bristol City. So form really doesn't matter. It's about your performance. It's about your desire to win the game on the night. And I'm sure Daniel Farker, who's been in this position multiple times before, especially with Norwich and previous occasions, has told his players, and I'm sure a lot of those players will know with experience at this level. Somerville trying to press Emmanuel Dennis, who's forced wide to the right hand side, and a good challenge by Liam Cooper, but good hold up play by Emmanuel Dennis to keep Watford on the front foot early on. Needs very strong defensively. See the throw in here from Andrews. Deep throw, headed away by Somerville. Bouncing down, Bamford tried to latch onto it. Falls to Andrews for Watford. Down the right hand side, and that's seen out of play nicely there by Sam Byram, who got in the way and put it out for another Watford throw on the right hand side. Positive start from the home team inside 2 minutes. Leeds just having to do a bit of out of possession work at the moment. Throw in comes in. Back to Pollock. Now Sirolta. Played forward. Finds Kayembe. Bricks past his marker down the right hand side. Finds Andrews. Now back to Pollock. Not looking to force the issue early on, Watford. Get a few touches on the ball. Gain a bit of confidence. And work into your rhythm as it works out to the left hand side. Here's Jamal Lewis. Trying to play it forward to Bio, and goes out of play for another Watford throw in off Archie Gray. Taken quickly, Lewis breaking down the left flank, seen backwards by Dan James and tried to be intercepted there, and it did actually get intercepted as it's fired away by Ryan Porteous and out for a Leeds throw in just inside the Leeds half, which Archie Gray will take. And the one thing for Leeds they need to remember, as I've already said, is about that composure, sustaining that composure right the way through the game. All 3 kind of title chasers, difficult away games, different results. Ipswich held on against Blackburn, came under a lot of pressure in that second half against Blackburn, but they held on and got the 3 points. Leicester at lunchtime just couldn't get to finishing their chances. They created so many chances in that second half, Leicester, but they ended up being punished for their lack of finishing ability. So often the case with Bristol City, but ended up going the opposite way. Same about Leeds. Tough away game under the lights. Watford will have a bit between their teeth. They've got nothing to play for in terms of promotion or relegation, but they of course would love to have a say in what happens at the top. A big game against Leeds United, one of the most informed sides in the league since the turn of the year. No one has any more points than Leeds in the table. 37 points since New Year's Day. That's 7 more than Ipswich on 30. They are the most informed side in the league, Leeds United, and they've got a free kick there. And Somerville actually lashes out here. He needs to calm himself, Crescencio Somerville. Can't allow Watford's teasing to get in his way. Has to continue on what he's good at. And the referee's just going to have a chat. David Webb's just going to have a chat with the two players in question. And Leeds will get a free kick. That's why Somerville was so annoyed. See it again. Somerville just takes the ball away, and Kayembe just keeps lashing at him, swinging a left boot at him. Somerville quite annoyed by that. Kayembe just a bit dramatic, and Somerville does get up and push him a bit, but I mean it's a bit over dramatic from Kayembe. It's like he see it in slow motion. He literally just falls over on his own accord there. Kayembe. It's nothing in that, and he's fine. But Leeds got the free kick. Millier fires it long, trying to target Bamford, intercepted by Porteous. Header won by Kamara, brought down by Somerville. Finds Byram. Back to Liam Cooper, the captain. To Millier. Liam Cooper, who was also on the edge of defeat when he played for Scotland in midweek. But Daniel Farker said that's sport. When asked about his players' disappointments in internationals during the week, especially those Welsh players, the likes of Dan James, Ethan Ampadu, Joe Rodon as well. Here's Andrews for Watford. Down the right-hand side, Ryan Andrews wins his side a corner. Really good play. It's calm and composed from Watford. That's what they need to be. They know that Leeds have the quality, they've got the ability, they've got the kind of firepower to destroy you, but just keep it up at that end of the pitch and they won't have the chance to destroy you. Give yourself confidence. You can cause Leeds problems in this game. As the corner's whipped in, left-footed. Up into the air by a Leeds head. Back into the mix as I think it was Sam Byram that headed that behind. It was. So it goes behind for another Watford corner, the opposite side this time. That set piece was dangerous enough that it caused Leeds some worries, and they had to head it behind. Only 1% of the ball has come in Watford's defensive third so far. 56% in Leeds' defensive third. Shows how positive a start it's been for Watford as the strike from distance bobbled its way through straight to Meslier though. And the clearance is a bit impatient from Ilan Meslier, and he loses the possession as Watford pounding upon the 18-yard box. Here's Emmanuel Dennis, plays it on, and run out of room there did Yasser Asprilla. But Ilan Meslier, far too impatient. The shot comes in, he takes the simple save and then doesn't waste any time at getting the ball forward, but it's an awful kick straight to his own player at some pace and bounces off, and Watford pounce upon that. But those are the type of situations that Leeds need to try and avoid. It'll only give Watford confidence, those moments. Here's Meslier. Rodon chips it forward. Nicely taken down by Roots here, but the second touch gets away from him. As a break down the left-hand side by Watford, and the deflection takes it into the path of Meilier, who grabs. But again, it's a cheap giveaway of possession by Leeds, and instantly Watford are attacking. Here's Rodon. Now Ruter lays it off this time, and Dan James making the infield run. Chipped away from him. Here's Patrick Bamford back to James. Just couldn't link it up. First real good attacking move from Leeds. First time they've really combined those attacking players. Byram now finds Kamara. Bamford coming deeper, trying to find the run on there by Sam Byram, and it goes out for a throw in to Leeds United. And that's the thing Watford need to be wary of as well. That burst of pace, that quality they have in attacking areas. Leeds, it's well documented. The vast amounts of quality they have in those areas. Leeds. Dan James, Ruter, Somerville, Bamford. Any of them can carve you open in a matter of seconds, but we'll see which one in the end comes out on top. Byram, ball forward, Somerville with a cross. Away by Pollock, as Watford try and get themselves out of danger. Lewis. Back to Ryan Porteous. Across to Siralta. Chips it forward, trying to find Kayembe. Claims of handball there from Leeds, but Kayembe brings it down. Watford in possession, taking their time. Dennis coming deeper. Nice spin of his man. Dennis in a bit of space. Neat work. Sprays it out to the right hand side. Here's Andrews. Andrews with a cut back. Bodies in the box. They want a penalty. The man went down. The referee waved it away, quite confirm in his decision. But they're not finished yet, Watford. Here's Lewis. The man's still down. Next to Spray that went down. Here's Lewis. They haven't stopped play, Watford, so the referee doesn't have to stop the game, but now he will as Watford put the ball out of play. As Spray is the one that went down. He was desperate for a penalty. We'll see it again. The cross from Andrew, a deft cut-back cross, and Ethan Ampadu in the challenge. And Spray. Ooh. I have to say, I think Ethan Ampadu's a bit lucky there, because Spray, I think, got the touch on the ball, and the ball was already gone by the time Ampadu had kind of connected with the right foot of Yasser Asprilla. I think he's a bit lucky there. But I can see it could be accidental in the fact that he's going for the ball, but then again, yeah. I mean, I can see why the referee didn't give it, but at the same time, Watford do have a fair argument that it should be a penalty, and Tom Cleverley, their interim head coach, is making that claim to the fourth official, but will not change the decision, not make any difference now. The decision's been made, and Leeds, who had that throw in, just give the ball straight back to Watford, of course, after they had their player treated to Yasser Asprilla, who is fine. Porteous with a long ball forward. Cooper deals with it, heads it down across. Brought down by Bayo. As Asprilla, who's found a spring in his step all of a sudden, finds Sierholta. Out to the right hand side. Chested down by Andrews. Battling was Sam Byram, who won the ball cleanly. And now Liam Cooper tries to get it clear. Does get it away. But good bodying from Francisco Sierholta, who bodies Patrick Bamford out of the way and wins the ball back for Watford. That's the ability of Watford. They're using their physical abilities to just beat Leeds to those 50-50 duels at the moment. Keeping a strong hold on the ball at the moment, Watford. That doesn't mean nothing against Leeds as they get a bit of complacent there, and Dan James bursting with pace down the other end, wants a free kick. That's not a foul, and Watford have the ball back. Dan James a bit overexcitable there in the final third to come charging through, but it's again a kind of a glimpse at what Leeds can do on the counter-attack. If Watford do get a bit complacent on the ball, Leeds can spring at you. That's where they need to be wary, but at the moment it's positive for Watford. Having the ball, they're controlling the tempo the way they want to control it. They're not going to control the tempo by doing things like that from Ryan Andrews. They're straight out of play for a throw in the Leeds. Of course, Leeds, of course, they know what this stage means. They've been here before. I mean, they run away with the title the last time that they got promotion to the top flight back in the 2019-20 season. That was the season where at the end of that season COVID broke out. We had that whole kind of curtailment of the season, but Leeds won the league that season as they have a chance here. Rucher broke into the box. Back to Somerville. Somerville forces a good save out of Daniel Bachmann. The first time he's been asked any sort of questions. Crescencio Somerville, as so like him, charges back onto his right foot, cuts inside, whips it with his right, trying to find that bottom corner. And it gets a really good save by Daniel Bachmann to parry it wide for the corner. That's so like Crescencio Somerville. It's his trademark kind of attack. As the corner comes in, what a height, a lot of height in that one. But the ball went out of play before it came back towards those players in the 18-yard box. Dan James a bit too much on that one. So a goal kick to Watford. There. Positive from Crescencio Somerville though. Leeds, their first real attack and outlet. First real kind of opportunity where they've completed an attacking phase. So far it's been, they've got into good areas but just not been able to threaten in the final third of Watford so far, and that was the first time we've really seen them do that. It was Ruter that made the run initially and the ball bounced back out to Somerville and he did the rest. But you know, that's the type of sustaining of possession and pressure that Leeds need to keep doing against Watford. Watford passing the ball about nicely there, as just as I say that, Ryan Porteous puts the ball straight up the middle and into the grasp of Ilan Meslier of Leeds. Just sacrifices the possession there a bit. The Scotland international. Here's Meslier. Going long this time. Targeting Bamford. Didn't win the first one. Didn't win the second header, but does win Leeds a throw-in from those two battles that he had. And Sam Byram will get the throw-in to take here for Leeds. First time touch by Ruter. Lovely link up with Somerville. Ruter down the left. Ruter with a ball across. Pure pace. Biampadu to pick it up. Now Dan James, the edge of the D, finds Glenn Kamara. Seems like Leeds are getting into their groove a bit here. Nice link up Ruter again. Somerville on the edge, trying to find a bit of space to take a shot, but he's crowded out. Keeps the ball low. Somerville just oversteps it. And Watford can now break away, but it was good play by Leeds United. Confident play. But here comes Jamal Lewis. And that's a heavy touch by Bayo. And that allows the challenge for Leeds United to clear it out for the throw-in. But we see this again. Somerville and Ruter, the link-up. And Dan James trying to link it up with Somerville in the end, which brought the kind of end to that attack. Although Porteous stepped in there. Maybe a shout at a free kick there for Somerville. But nonetheless, we play on. Starting to see Leeds grow into the game a bit more now. That's what we are expecting to see after a very, very positive start for Watford with their possession, as here they have a ball in behind again. Here's Jamal Lewis, chips the ball across, takes a deflection off Joe Rodon, and another corner to Watford. It's good opportunities. It's those wide areas that Watford are getting the joy. Those wing backs, Jamal Lewis and Ryan Edwards at opposite ends, where their attacking outlets coming from. Using their wing backs as their width. As the corner whipped in by Espria, headed away, but the free kick will go Leeds' way, as there was a foul in there, spotted by the referee on Jorginho Ruter, I think, so that will be a free kick to Leeds United. So just to remind you then, if we take a quick look at the league table, if we can get the league table up for you, the live league table to show where who is where and what is going on. This is where we stand at this moment in time. So Leeds currently with a draw would be in second, would stay second. The draw would not be enough to take them back to top spot, but Leicester would drop to third, which would mean they would be outside of the top two for the first time in God knows how long. Hundreds of days. I think they've been in the top two the longest out of any team this season, over 200 days inside the top two, Leicester, but they will be out if a draw happens here. Even if Leeds lose, they will be out no matter what. But Leeds want to take top spot. They need a win to do that. But as it stands, they will be remaining second, but would cut that gap to Ipswich to 1 point after Ipswich took a 2-point lead at the top after their win against Blackburn earlier this evening. Ampadu a bit lax in his passing there and handed the ball straight back to Watford for a throw-in with his poor pass. He apologises to his teammates for that unlikely, characteristic move. But one key stat like you have to keep focus on, and one that not many would have predicted coming into this one, is the fact that Watford have had more of the ball than Leeds. 59% possession for Watford. The Leeds is 41. Usually it's Leeds that is dominating the possession and controlling the game. So far, Watford have done a very, very good job at not only breaking up Leeds' play, but also finding their own players and getting into attacking areas and positive areas for themselves to keep the ball. That could be also down to not taking massive amounts of risk that Leeds are at the moment. Leeds are taking surely more risks with those counter-attacking chances. That's good pressing by Ampadu to win the ball back. Archie Gray does well as well. Ampadu did get the bounce of the ball after he thought he'd lost it, but Byram breaks into space. He's got options, finds Somerville down the left, but Somerville drifted into an offside position, so that comes to a pretty quick end, that attack for Leeds. Bamford hasn't had much involvement in the game. When we look at his touches, 2 touches for Patrick Bamford so far, and we're halfway through the first half. You know, it's a common trait for Leeds if they are going long with the ball. You know, Patrick Bamford's their target man. He's the one that kind of holds the ball up and brings out others into play and then fires himself forward into the mix. But so far, when Leeds have went forward, they've not won those headers first time or even the second time round. It's obviously clearly something that Tom Cleverley and his the coaching staff at Watford had a look at in ways to stop Leeds in those attacking positions and deny them those opportunities. So we're just seeing a replay of a free kick there for Leeds. And the build-up of that free kick, which Glenn Kamara will take. Short across to Ampadu. To the right-hand side, Archie Gray on the halfway line. Back to Rodon. Back to Meilier. I think Leeds just need to string a few passes together, get their rhythm going, have a bit more of the ball, get comfortable with it, and try and command the game the way they want. Because so far they've not really stamped their authority on this game. Very much the opposite, really. Watford have stamped their authority on it. And also their pressing's not been at the very best so far, Leeds. Watford have been able to play out of the press quite a number of times, and the amount of space that there is in those areas when they do play out, they do get away from that press. It's quite monumental, but that's a good press. Just in response to that from Dan James. He's showing his frustration there. It's all about staying calm for Leeds. They know what they need to do. Watford not probably played a foot wrong so far, really. I mean, I can't say that they have. Here's Bachmann to take this goal kick. It was long. First header won by Joe Rodon. Second header, Ruter and Porteous went up for it, but a slight collision. The referee says play on, although he has stopped the game now because it is a head injury to Jorginho Ruter. So the game has been paused momentarily. Yeah, it's just that. Ooh. I think that's a bit much from Ryan Porteous, to be fair. He did jump up for the ball, but he did catch Ruter in the process. You can see why the referee didn't give the free kick, but of course had to stop the game at least momentarily to see if Ruter was okay, as it was a head injury. As we get back and going again. As Bayo tracks Rodon all the way out, and Rodon with a last touch gives Watford another corner. So a corner for Watford on the left hand side. 26 minutes gone. 0-0 here at Vicarage Road. As Leeds look to head back top of the table. Corner whipped in. Away by Kamara. Bounces out to Andrews, who under pressure. Good press by Dan James. Forces him to make an error. And just get it away anywhere, and it ends up going out for a Leeds throw-in. That was good pressing by Dan James. Impressive. Just not allow Ryan Andrews any time and space on the ball. Comes charging at him. And hope that he gets a panic response, and that is exactly what happened. Leeds get the throw-in. Archie Gray to take. As Ruter, the second time of asking, takes it with him. He takes it a bit heavy and it runs away as Watford fire it up and trying to target something. And again a scramble from Sam Byram to get it clear. He's disappointed with his team, but Emmanuel Dennis seems to be causing a few issues as well. Just running into those areas, making it a bit unnervy for Leeds. He's the main focal point for Watford tonight, Emmanuel Dennis. Bachmann goes long. Andrews up for the header, but Byram won it. Somerville lays it off to Kamara, but Kamara goes forward, can't find Patrick Bamford, and an interception there from Matthew Pollock, but straight out of play for Leeds throw. So Leeds take that throw. Cooper back to Melier, cross to Rodon. Now Archie Gray. Gray tries to go down the line to find Dan James. Does take a deflection. So we'll take get the throw in. I was just trying to listen to see if I could hear on the mic there what Archie Gray was trying to say, but I couldn't understand it. Gray down the line, trying to find Dan James again. They win another throw in, Leeds. Getting another few yards up the pitch. Halfway line as Ruter takes a touch, lays it off, finds Ampadu, now finds Byram in a bit of space. Somerville has to take a touch. It was a bit behind him, that ball, but Somerville seemingly running into trouble, but he did run into trouble. Watford clear it away and Leeds won it back again. It seems to be, at the moment, they get to a certain point, Leeds, and they just can't link it all up. They get to around about the halfway point into Watford's half, and Watford fly at them. They kind of panic and have to go backwards again. Quite narrow Leeds, not trying to find those balls down the line when they get into those attacking areas. They are more narrow. Dan James and coming a bit further infield than normal, which is interesting. Drop ball there for Watford as the referee got in the way of one of their passes, so we'll have a free kick here, or just a drop ball, Watford. They've managed the game well so far, the home side. Not been tested massively by Leeds. Once or twice in the game. They've not actually tested Leeds more than just the once, really, in the game. So it's not been one of those games where both sides have had really good attacking chances. So far, it's them both trying to tussle for the ball. But the final thirds have been a bit quiet since in the last 10-15 minutes. There's not been massive action in the final third. No real clear-cut chances. Or even shots, to say the very least. Because either side are both tussling for the ball. And it's getting a bit scrappy at times. A bit out of hand. That's a good challenge. As Watford come forward. Here's Jamal Lewis. Plays it forward to Spria with a cut back. Emmanuel Dennis! What a save, and then followed up by Bayo. And Watford take the lead. The deadlock is broken. And Vakun Isif Bayo gives Watford the lead. Leeds United caught out-battled again, out-muscled in the midfield. Beaten off the ball. They run into bodies just. Watford on the counter-attack. Jamal Lewis down the left-hand side. Lays it off to Asprilla. Asprilla beats his man. Cuts it back to an unmarked Emmanuel Dennis. He strikes it. Big save by Melia initially. And you think that's got Leeds out of trouble. But it bounces straight to the path of Bayo, who just has to fire it past Ilan Melia from the tight angle. And a lovely half-volley finish by Bayo. And Leeds go behind. But so far, Watford, they've managed the game well. They've held Leeds at arm's length, and they have punished them on the counter-attack. Really good play from Watford, and they have the advantage. Watford 1, Leeds United 0. That will keep the home crowd fairly happy with this lead now that Watford have. Leeds, as I mentioned, in good form. Unbeaten in the league. Dating back to the 29th of December was their last defeat, Leeds United, away at West Bromwich Albion when they were beaten 1-0. Since then, in 2024, they've had just one defeat in all competitions, and that was the FA Cup exit against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. But other than that, unbeaten Leeds United, and they're behind against Watford. But that's not too uncommon a situation for Leeds. They know how to come from behind as well to get results. It'll be a tough ask on a night where they could have found themselves, or they could still find themselves back top of the Championship table, but they need 3 points to do that. They're going to need a comeback to do that now. Watford have something to hold on to, so if their defence was stern and strong before the goal, I think they're going to get even stronger with something to hold on to now, Watford. That lead, that ever so crucial one goal lead that they have. Melia. Oh, Leeds caught out of the back again, and a space now. Here's Emmanuel Dennis. Fantastic challenge by Joe Rodon. Got Leeds out of trouble, but they're causing their own problems, and it's Melia again. He done it earlier in the game, and they got away with it, Leeds. They got away with it there, but Melia, just poor passing out from the back. Lack of composure and concentration, and almost gets Leeds into even more trouble. And a fantastic challenge by Joe Rodon to stop Emmanuel Dennis. inside the 18-yard box, but again, Leeds architects of their own downfall almost. Could have found themselves 2-0 down. But at the moment, they need to get going, Leeds. They've just not been at the level so far. Somerville penalised for a foul on Ryan Andrews. So a free kick goes Watford's way. Watford have been the better side so far. I mean, 3 shots, 3 on target, 10 touches in Leeds' 18-yard box and 54% possession. So the possession's narrowed, but still Watford have the better of it. But I have to say Watford have looked the better of the more fluid, the more in control, the kind of more cohesive side so far. Leeds have just looked a bit off the boil a few moments, 1 or 2 moments of quality, but other than that, Leeds haven't been consistently in control or positive in attacking areas. They've had their spittles of moments, but other than that, nothing much to say. Don't forget there's a lot more football on LFS over the Easter weekend, and tomorrow we have another lunchtime kickoff for you at St James's Park as Newcastle welcome West Ham United tomorrow at 12:30. Both sides have chance at European places this season in the Premier League, and they will be battling for 3 points tomorrow at St James's Park. Lunchtime kickoff in the Premier League. Just under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Leeds behind 1-0 against Watford at Vicarage Road. I think if it gets to half time and the scoreline stays the same, I think Daniel Farker's going to have to really kick his side into gear, because they've just not been at that level that we've seen of Leeds in 2024. We've seen them dispatch a number of teams. We've seen them show dominance and clear control and complete and utter confidence, but tonight they've not shown that anywhere near enough. Here's Somerville though. Bamford chips the ball towards Byram, now lays it off to Somerville. Somerville had a clean ball to Byram, but it did find its way to the Leeds fullback. Kamara back to Somerville on the left flank, chops inside. Somerville goes for the strike, a curler! What a finish! Crescencio Somerville with an absolute cracking goal, and Leeds are back level. Pure quality from Crescencio Somerville. His watermark finish. Stamp his name on that, because he does it more than enough. And Leeds United back level. A scrappy moment or two, but the quality that Leeds have, they're always a threat. Glenn Kamara spots the space down the left-hand side for Somerville. Beats his man. Chops onto his right foot, similar to his first opportunity. Almost identical. Chops inside and he gets a firm whip on this one. To the far corner. Absolutely unstoppable from Daniel Bachmann's point of view. No stopping that finish. An absolute cracker from Crescencio Somerville. And that is the sign of top quality teams. Even when they are under the cosh, not at their best, they have top quality players to get them to where they need to be. And that is exactly what Crescencio Somerville possesses. Pure quality to get Leeds out of trouble. Watford 1, Leeds United 1. Game is most certainly back on at Vicarage Road. Watford's lead didn't last very long. 5.5 minutes. Now Leeds have the momentum. Hello, another poor pass by Ampadu. Bayo blocked off the first time, and then the follow-up from Leeds to clear it away by Joe Rodon. A few sloppy passes, that's where the problems are coming from for Leeds. Sloppy passes in midfield. Unforced errors. Something they need to eradicate firmly, quickly. Otherwise, they will be back in the same position they were before, being behind in this game. Throw into Watford on the right-hand side. Down the line by Pollock. Away by Liam Cooper. As Kamara steps in and Byram gets in the way. And Bamford on the chase. But good covering by Ryan Porteous. Gets it back to his keeper. Porteous with the switch ball. Sprays it across to the left-hand side. Lewis. Bayo. Lays it off to an on-running Jamal Lewis. Into space. Here's Bayo. Bayo with a chance, but Liam Cooper got there ahead of him and took no risks at putting it behind for the corner. Burst of pace by Jamal Lewis. Played the infield diagonal, trying to find Bayo. And it's well cut out by Liam Cooper. Behind for the corner. Counter-attacking again, showing a real stronghold of Watford. Another corner to take. Left-footed delivery, out swinging. Onto the head of Pollock. Not fully cleared by Ruter. As Dennis cuts it back. Jamal Lewis with the ball in. Bodies in the box as Leeds clear it away again. Bashiru finds its way out to the left-hand side, and that wayward header from Somerville puts it behind, out for a Watford throw on the left. Watford take no delaying in getting it into the box, and Dan James had to scramble it away and out for another Watford throw, but on the opposite side. So we're into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Watford 1, Leeds 1. Watford took the lead after Emmanuel Dennis's shot rebounded back to the path of Bayo, who forced it past Elan Meslier, and then Leeds responded with a pure solo quality from Crescencio Somerville to level it. Since that equaliser, Watford have responded pretty well. Good link up again. Bashiru out to Lewis. Lewis with the cross. Not those convincing of clearances by Leeds. Rodon did get it away. And then pounced upon was Archie Gray by Emmanuel Dennis. And that gets a massive round of applause from the Vicarage Road crowd and the interim head coach Tom Cleverley. That's the type of passion and desire that he wants from his team. Just throw bodies. Keep the pressure on Leeds. Don't let them off the hook. Always be within a few yards of your opponent to be there to pounce. Long ball from Bachman. Cooper to win the battle. Brought down by Kamara. Byram. Infield to Somerville, who has space now. Chips it over the top, looking for Bamford. Just a bit short. Headed away by Sierralta. Now Bashiru. Lays it off to Kayembe, and now space for Watford to break again. This time the shot from distance. Took a deflection, Espria, and it took a deflection. Behind for the corner. And luckily for Leeds, it didn't deflect towards their own nets. It deflected wide off Joe Rodon. And another Watford corner. Their 6th of the game. Needs just the one corner so far. Sprayer over to take this corner then on the left hand side for Watford. Left footed delivery, whipped in, headed on, and it just didn't have the pace from Matthew Pollock. Straight into the hands of Elan Meslier. In the Leeds goal. Yeah, he's just a bit ahead of it, and he has to kind of backtrack to get his head on it, and he couldn't deliver the pace on the header, which allowed it to find the hands of Elan Meslier. Leeds get a free kick there. Here's Jorginho Ruter, another kind of quiet player for Leeds in the first half. I mean, the only real on-form attacking player for Leeds so far out of the four is Somerville. Dan James, Patrick Bamford and Jorginho Rutter just really haven't got going. Here's Emmanuel Dennis, who really has got going. Dennis breaks away, shot, goal! Emmanuel Dennis. Pure quality from Leeds to level it, but pure quality from Emmanuel Dennis to fire Watford back into the lead. Quick footwork, cute footwork, and he finds the bottom corner with his left boot to retake the lead for Watford. Again, out battling, out muscled again, Leeds down that right hand side, and Cooper doesn't get back in time. Just chops back and is toying with the Leeds defenders as Emmanuel Dennis. He knows exactly where he's going, and he knows exactly what's going to happen next. Commits Liam Cooper, chops back on him, and his quick footwork completely baffles the Leeds defenders, and the left-footed finish into the far corner. Too much for the outstretched Elan Melier, and Watford are back in front. Watford 2, Leeds United 1. And Emmanuel Dennis, the man to give Watford the advantage once again, as we actually have just surpassed the 45-minute mark. So first half coming to an end fairly soon, and we will have 3 added minutes at the end of the first half. So Leeds back to where they were about over 10 minutes ago, and they need another response, another equalizer, because Watford have fired themselves back in front. And here's Rutter going himself. Rutter tried to beat his way into the box, and Bachmann had to come and scramble it away, as Watford on the counter-attack now. But Leeds have lots of bodies back, so that should come to a pretty quick end indeed. It does. Certainly a dramatic last 15 minutes of the half. Find their shooting boots, these two teams. I think just before Watford scored their first goal, I'd said there hadn't been many huge opportunities in the game. But in the end, the next 3 big opportunities they've taken, both teams. And as it stands, well, it will be Ipswich that will lead the way heading into Easter Monday fixtures, which all 3 of the top 3 will be at home. Leeds unbeaten at home this campaign, the only side in the Championship unbeaten at home. But they need to beat off Watford first before they entertain a home fixture against Hull on Monday. And Glenn Kamara there. A bit too much on Ryan Andrews, and it will get a free kick, I believe, for Watford. Or will it be a throw-in? I can't tell. Last minute of the first half. And I'm sure, without doubt, Tom Cleverley will have very little to say to his side other than more of the same, please, at half-time, because Watford have been absolutely excellent. Leeds have been off the boil, haven't been at their level that we usually see from them in this first half. That doesn't, not to mean that it can't show up in the second half, that they can't change that, but they need, I think, to regroup at half-time and figure out what's went wrong in this first half, Leeds, and try and resolve the issue in the next 45, because the last thing that they would want is defeat. Leeds wanted to head back top tonight, but at the moment they're nowhere near doing that. They need to complete turnaround of the scoreline for that to happen, as we round off the first half with a dramatic ending. Fantastic quality from all 3 goals, really. Really good play from both teams, but it's Watford that deservedly are ahead at the half. They were probably the better side in that first half. Leeds just a bit off it, not really at the races just yet. But they need to be in the second half if they're going to want to win this one. Half time in the Championship. It is Watford 2, Leeds United 1.
Catch me if I fall. I got a switch in my head. I go from living to dead. You got me seeing all red.
Welcome back to EFL Championship Live. The race for promotion at half-time at Vicarage Road. It is Watford 2, Leeds United 1 in our final game of our bumper Good Friday action. All 12 games all of today. From the Championship, we started at lunchtime when at Ashton Gate, where Bristol City denied Leicester the chance of going back top of the Championship table by beating them by 1-0. A fantastic finish by Anis Mehmeti earlier, late in that second half, to give Bristol City the 1-goal win. That's their first win over Leicester in 12 years, and that the last win did come at Ashton Gate back in 2012. That was also met by another lunchtime fixture between Millwall and West Bromwich Albion, where Millwall did lead for quite a long time. Duncan Watmore with the goal in the first half, giving Millwall the lead in that one before John Swift from the penalty spot levelled it for West Brom to get the Baggies a point out of that one to keep their hopes, to keep their control on the top in the 5th place spot alive. 1-1 there, and Millwall have got that huge point that saves them or helps them in their chances of safety from relegation. We'll look at the table in a few moments, but let's just run through the rest of these results from the 3 o'clockers. Some interesting results as Cardiff were beaten 2-0 by Sunderland at the Cardiff City Stadium. Both goals coming in the first half. Adil Achawi? Apologies, completely butchered that. 12th minute penalty to give Sunderland the lead before Jobe Bellingham, I know that name, Jobe Bellingham doubled their lead after 27 minutes. That was enough to get Sunderland the 3 points against Cardiff. Coventry were a bit more nervy than it needed to be in the end. They got a 3-1 victory over Huddersfield at the John Smith Stadium. Ellis Sims with 2 goals in the first half inside a couple of minutes sprung Coventry to a 2-goal lead. That lasted for quite a long time. Reece Healy, though, got what Huddersfield a bit of hope late on after 79 minutes responded, scored for Huddersfield to bring it back to 2-1 before a 94th minute confirmation goal, really, to confirm the 3 points for Coventry from Haji Wright to make it 3-1 and give Coventry all 3 points. Speaking of all 3 points on the road, a shock defeat for Hull City. They'd drawn all of their last 4 in the Championship, but it was defeat that they will be tasting this Good Friday. Stoke City were the winners at the MKM Stadium, goalless after the first half, but Josh Laurent put them Stoke into a lead in the second half. It lasted for quite a long time, and it looked to be one of those scraping 1-0 winners in the end, but a 93rd minute goal from Keanu Hoover doubled Stoke's lead to confirm their victory on the road, which meant there was 3 victories on the road there in a row, which was a fascinating outcome. It wasn't to be 4 though, because Plymouth Argyle, despite taking the lead against Norwich at Carrow Road through Morgan Whittaker after just 10 minutes, they were pegged back in the second half from a second half comeback from Norwich. The Canaries from Josh Sargent and an Ashley Phillips own goal confirmed the 3 points for Norwich City as they keep their grip on 6th place from the chasing pack below them. One of those chasing pack, Preston North End, who made it easy work against bottom of the table Rotherham United. All 3 of Preston's goals came in the first half inside 42 minutes. Dwayne Holmes and Emil Rees with a double to give Preston North End a 3-0 victory. It wasn't enough to see Rotherham be relegated this weekend. I look at the table because of Huddersfield's result at Coventry. They needed Huddersfield to win and Rotherham to lose for that to be confirmed, but it is a matter of time for Rotherham. Just a huge game between two relegation battlers at Loftus Road between QPR and Birmingham, as Birmingham took the lead in that one. Juninho Bacuna in the second half fired Birmingham into a lead, but only a couple of minutes later that lead didn't last very long, as QPR were back level through Steve Cook to bring it to 1-1 after just 3 minutes. 3 minutes after Birmingham took the lead, and a 92nd minute winner from Jimmy Dunn, and what a finish it was, done with a stunner to give QPR all 3 points, and a huge 3 points. They had the second worst home record of the season, QPR, going into that one. They had failed to really enamour their home crowd this season, but that was a victory they will remember. And in another one of the relegation battlers, Sheffield Wednesday couldn't find their way out of the bottom three this afternoon, as they were held to a 1-1 draw at home against Swansea City. They took the lead in the first half through Bailey Cadamarteri, who gave Sheffield Wednesday the lead in the first half, before Jamal Lowe levelled it after 76 minutes for Swansea City. A lovely finish from Jamal Lowe to level that game and to get Swansea a point. They're in the mid-table. They're fighting for very little at this moment in time, but Sheffield Wednesday still find themselves in the bottom three after failing to hold on to that 1-goal lead. Speaking of failing to hold on to a 1-goal lead, Southampton, Adam Armstrong put them ahead after just 12 minutes at St Mary's, but they were denied after a 90th minute equaliser from Emmanuel Latte-Lath for Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick's side escaped with a point. They are in mid-table. They might have an outside chance at playoffs, but unlikely at this stage. You never know, but it looks unlikely for them. Southampton, they wanted to really close the gap on the teams above them. They could have found themselves within 6 points of Leicester, having a game in hand on Leicester above them, which could have really closed that gap between them, but it is now 8 points between the two, with Southampton having a game in hand. So a big 2 points dropped for Southampton. No points drops for Ipswich, who had a back top of the Championship table against Blackburn. Their goal coming in the first half from Connor Chaplin. A lovely team goal this. Squeezed into the bottom left corner from Connor Chaplin after just 9 minutes. Give Ipswich all 3 points to take them back top of the Championship table. And let's have a look and see what the table looks like at the moment. This is where we are live at this moment in time, with Leeds losing by 2-1 to Watford at Vicarage Road. It is Ipswich that lead the way after 39 games. They have 84 points, just one defeat in the last 5 games on 84 points. Also lead the way on goals scored as well. 81 goals scored this season. Leeds in second as it stands, with them losing, but of course if Leeds come back and win, they will jump top of the table, but we'll tell you about that if that happens. Leeds on course for their 7th defeat of the season. They have the least goals conceded in the league this season, 30, that's after they've conceded those 2 goals already this evening, and that goal difference is quite tight as well. 82 points there on unbeaten in their last 5 leads. Leicester in third. They drop out of the top 2 for the first time in a long time. Spend over 230 days inside the top 2, but no more, and they won't end that way tonight unless Leeds end up losing by 3 goals or more tonight, and they will be above Leeds on goal difference, so it could come down to that. Leicester, who've lost 3 of their last 5. Then the top 6 is made up between Southampton on 74 points. After they dropped 2 points this afternoon, they're only moved up a point. 74. West Brom firmly in 5th as well. 67. Not completely kind of foolproofed in 5th place. Southampton seem a bit comfortable, 7 points above them with games in hand, Southampton. But West Brom not completely out of the danger zone yet, with Norwich just 3 points behind them after Norwich's 3rd straight victory in the league. Despite West Brom being unbeaten in the last 5, Norwich continue to chase them, because they are already being chased themselves. Norwich on 64, only 4 points ahead of Coventry, but 5 points ahead of Preston and 6 ahead of Hull. But remember, all 3 teams below Norwich have a game in hand, so it is still very, very tight. If they all win their games in hand, it would come down to 1, 2 and 3 points separating those 4 teams at that point. And Middlesbrough and Cardiff there as well, keeping themselves entertained in the middle. Down to the bottom, and this is as tight. If you think the top is tight, this is even tighter down towards the bottom. Just Watford sneaking in onto the graphic there in 13th. But let's look towards the bottom. It's not tight between where Rotherham are. They're completely, firmly bottom and are just awaiting their relegation, really. If they fail to win their next game, and the teams in and around them, no matter what their results are, if they fail to win Rotherham on Monday, they will be relegated no matter what. They sit bottom on 20 points. 19 points ahead of them are 3 teams above them: Sheffield Wednesday, Huddersfield and Birmingham. The 3 places above Rotherham, all on 39 points, separated only by goal difference. Sheffield Wednesday's goal difference firmly a lot worse than Huddersfield and Birmingham's, which is a lot tighter at -21 and -18, but still very tight there. And then above them, Plymouth on 41, who, despite leading away at Norwich, fell to defeat. They're 4th in their last 5. Blackburn above them, who ended up not being able to claw back at Ipswich, and they were beaten by 1-0. They're on 42. 43 for QPR, huge 3 points for QPR that gets them away from that mix for the moment, but they're still very much in that battle. Stoke above them on 44, and Millwall in 44 as well after their draw. So QPR, Stoke and Millwall all picking up points, and the teams below them, Blackburn, Plymouth, Birmingham and Huddersfield, all dropping 2 defeats this afternoon. So it's as tight can be. 5 points separate 8 teams in that out of the bottom 9 in the Championship. The relegation battle is as tight can be. Right, so we have another bumper set of fixtures to come for you over this Easter weekend, and do not forget then, next up, tomorrow we have Premier League action for you this tomorrow afternoon at lunchtime, as Newcastle take on West Ham at St James's Park. That's tomorrow at 12:30. It's both on a chase for European places towards the end of the season. Eddie Howe and David Moyes' sides battle it off in the North East. Then on Easter Monday we have another double Championship action for you. We start at the King Power Stadium Easter Monday at lunchtime, 12:30 kickoff. Leicester take on Norwich, a huge game at the King Power Stadium. Norwich looking to hold on to that 6th place spot and not keep a hold of gap to those teams below them. Leicester want to really keep it in the mix with the top half and look to get their battle for top spot back on. And then later on Easter Monday night, Leeds will have the chance to watch everybody else and react again as they welcome Hull City to Ellen Road Easter Monday at 8 o'clock. Hull have a bit of responding to do themselves if they want to get playoff places. We will see if they can do that against Leeds on Monday night, who have a bit of responding to do for themselves in the second half of Vicarage Road, where it is Watford 2, Leeds 1, the second half. On the way next.
Catch me if I fall.
Welcome back to the race for promotion, Watford and Leeds. It is half time. The players out for the second half at Vicarage Road, where a bit of response is needed from Leeds. Watford will want to do the business and hold on to that 2-1 advantage that they have if they want to pick up 3 points and cause a massive upset in terms of those title-chasing Leeds United. Right, second half ready to get underway, as we are underway now. Leeds get us back and going for the second 45, and a second 45 where they need to have a response. They need to be a lot better, a lot higher quality than they were in that first half. Leeds, crisper passing, quicker passing, indeed, even more crucially, and just better quality on the ball. They need to up their physicality and get this man, Patrick Bamford, involved. As the ball straight up to him, headed away by Pollock and out for the Leeds throw. Patrick Bamford, who had minimal involvement in that first half, 9 touches in the first half, compared to the opposite attacker, Emmanuel Dennis, who had 19 touches in that first half. So Patrick Bamford firmly can say that he's not had much involvement so far, but I'm sure Leeds will want to change that in the second half. And Daniel Farker watching on. As I said, he has experience in these positions. He knows what it takes to get a side up from the Championship to the Premier League. Done it with Norwich. They won the title, Norwich, under Daniel Farker. Here come Leeds, though. Lovely from Somerville. Gets to the byline, chips it across. Straight into the hands of Bachmann. But he is the outlet at the moment for Leeds. Crescencio Somerville. He's the main man in that attack as it stands. He's getting the most joy out of the Watford defence. On that occasion, he ran into the Watford goalkeeper. Here goes long, Daniel Bachmann. Leeds win the first header through Byram. Brought down and controlled in midfield by Watford. Kayembe. Lovely spin by Bashiru to hold the possession for Watford as they spread it out to the left. Here's Lewis. Down the left-hand side, Jamal Lewis. First real run, and hits the ball off Archie Gray, who stands his ground and in the way, and it goes behind for a Watford corner. That's one of the massive positives from Watford in that first half, their ability to win set pieces. I can't say they kind of threatened Leeds much from set pieces in that first half. Leeds, I think, dealt with the set pieces pretty well, but they'll keep throwing them at them as the ball whipped in from the left. Headed on, but headed wide by Matthew Pollock again. He's got onto a couple of those headers from corners. Pollock bombing his head at it again, but this time off target. Here's Gray for Leeds, down the line, trying to target Bamford, but again run into trouble as Sierralta's got the backtracking to do against Bamford and does pretty well. Francisco Sierralta, as Bachmann clears it long, and Leeds have it back with Liam Cooper. You can certainly see that Leeds are trying to get Patrick Bamford onto the ball. It's not for a lack of want of trying. Is that the saying? It's not through a lack of trying, that's what I mean. They're certainly wanting Patrick Bamford on the ball. It's just at the moment Watford have got his number, got the better of him defensively. And that's where it comes down to the striker himself, trying to get himself more involved, to drop a bit deeper maybe, be more involved in the build-up play, if that's the way they want to go about it. At the moment it seems like Leeds are unwilling at times to go shorter and play it through the middle. They're more willing to go longer and try and pick up second balls, but even at times when they've done that, when they've tried that, that hasn't worked because they just haven't been quick enough to the second ball. And even when they have been quick enough, they just didn't win the battle. So that's why they just weren't at their level in that first half. Everything they were trying, they were being outmatched by Watford time and time again. Here's Bashiru on the spin again. Back towards his own goal through to Porteous, who goes back to Bachmann. He's pressured by Patrick Bamford, and Bachmann goes long. Byram wins the first header. Good header won at the back there by Andrews, and Watford have it back in the middle again. Here is Ryan Andrews. Fired it forward to Emmanuel Dennis. Played across now into space to Asprilla. Asprilla out to the left, finds Jamal Lewis looking for bodies. Lewis, will he go himself? He will try and go himself, and blocked off by Archie Gray there, and out for the throw-in. to Watford on the left. They don't want to waste any time, Watford. Throw in straight to Espria. Porteous down the left to Jamal Lewis. Again, they're certainly dominating the ball, Watford. Leeds just not getting a hold of it at the moment. That's a lovely reverse ball out to Jamal Lewis on the left-hand side. Up against Gray. Allows the ball to come in, and Jamal Lewis's cross is a tame one towards Ilan Melia, who can catch quite easily there. Just passing around. Leeds at the back. I mean, they had no trouble at doing that in the first half. When they did try and play out, they had no trouble playing it around the defence. It was the out ball, and that's lovely from Archie Gray. Patience. Lays it off to Sam Byram. The running behind this is lovely from Leeds. Here's Somerville. Somerville looking for the option. Goes himself. And a big save by Daniel Bachmann to deny him. That's exactly what Leeds didn't do in that first half. They rushed the pass at times, and Archie Gray was patient. He knew the pass was coming. He knew the space was opening up, and he just waited enough time, played the ball through. Lovely run infield from Sam Byram, who just played it first time on to an on-running Crescencio Somerville. Made the run in behind. There was space there to run into, and he took full advantage of it, but a big save by Daniel Bachmann to deny Leeds, who have a corner on the left-hand side. Will be an in-swinging corner. Somerville to take. Takes it short, actually. Kamara back to Somerville, trying to work the angle. Somerville plays it across. Edge of the box is Dan James, but lots of Watford bodies in the way. James just runs into trouble, but he will get the free kick. He's smart there, Dan James. Stepped across, and Jamal Lewis came right through the back of him, and that is a free kick. He knows he's going absolutely nowhere, and he's just waiting for the contact, Dan James, and it's smart play. Knows the challenge is coming, and Jamal Lewis a bit naive on that occasion. He's been very, very good tonight, Jamal Lewis, in attacking areas, but just a bit over-eager to get onto the ball there, and gives away a free kick. Leeds have another set-piece chance. Somerville to take again. This time, right-hand side. Almost in line with the right hand line of the box. Bit of distance out, but it is on the right hand side, so a chance to whip the ball in from Crescencio Somerville. His body's in there to meet it. Somerville, right footed delivery, right to the back post, headed across, and I'd headed on Router, but the flag went up against him. It was very close. See this again. Ball whipped in, back post. Byram keeps it alive, or sorry, is it Rodon that keeps it alive maybe? And Byram had the header. I mean, is it out of play? See this again. It's kept in. That is a poor decision by the assistant. I don't like to criticise officials, but that is poor. That was so that was clearly in play. They were questioning whether the ball back towards Sam Byram was kept in play, but it was clearly in play. From the side-on angle, it was firmly, did not get anywhere near the line, never mind crossing the line. Nonetheless, it came to nothing anyway. It was cleared off the line no matter what from Watford, so it got away. Leeds still trail, but showing promise. Here's Archie Gray. Down the right-hand side, infield diagonal run from Dan James there, but Gray doesn't make the pass. Lays it off to Ampadu in the end. Or Router, sorry. Nice ball out to the left. Byram made the run. Somerville infield. Across to Kamara. Back to Somerville. Somerville having to retreat. Patience. Watford standing in the way. Denying Leeds, but that's a good ball by Ampadu out to the left. Fizz towards Somerville. Back infield to Byram. Better passing from Leeds, a bit quicker. More pace in it this time around. They were a bit lethargic in their passing in that first half. But Watford strong. Firm in their structure. And their defensive shape. Leeds trying to eke spaces. Gray. Dan James comes in feet, linking up with Ruter. Back to Dan James, lays it off to Bamford. Nice touch by Bamford. Finds Ruter on the edge of the box. Jorginho Ruter! Strike! And took a deflection. And it will be a Leeds corner. It just fizzed over the top of the bar. It had Daniel Bachmann reaching for it. And Ruter took the strike, took a deflection. Leeds will get a corner. Much more positive from Leeds. Sustaining attacks, more pace in their pass, and they're moving it quicker. That's the more type of Leeds idea that we're used to seeing, that approach. And I think Tom Cleverley can feel it, because I think he might be eyeing up some changes maybe shortly to bring a few fresh legs on, but we'll see what happens. Leeds have a corner. Dan James to take it, right-footed. In, out, swinging corner to the back post. Up and headed away. Watford battling to get it fully clear. They haven't properly cleared it yet. As Kamara battling here with Asprilla, but Asprilla will get the free kick as Kamara held on too long there, and Watford will get the free kick. Yeah, really strong from Yasser Asprilla. Good decision by the referee. Seems to be an issue here. Watford's most recent goal scorer, Emmanuel Dennis, has gone down and must have felt something. So that's why Watford were getting a man ready on the sidelines. They must have knew about this, or at least had a hint that something was wrong with Emmanuel Dennis. So he's gone down. It looks like that will be the end of his night. But what a night it's been so far. Emmanuel Dennis giving Watford the lead once again in that second half. Or that first half, sorry. Towards the end of the first half. Their second goal of the night for Watford. Lovely bit of solo skill from Emmanuel Dennis to get Watford second. He's back on his feet. I think he will just walk his way off the pitch. He will. And that substitution is oncoming then for Watford. So Emmanuel Dennis is going to be replaced. And coming on in his way is Ismail Kone. So Ismail Kone coming on and replacing Emmanuel Dennis for Watford. He gets a round of applause, a standing ovation from the home crowd. And he applauds back Emmanuel Dennis as he jogs his way to the sidelines to be replaced by Ismail Kone. And we'll see how Tom Cleverley can rework this team to still seek an edge against Leeds United. Bachmann goes long from the free kick all the way through, and will run out for a Leeds throw on the far side, on the far end of the pitch. Keep an eye on Ismail Kone. See what impact he can have. He's highly rated at Watford. See if he lives up to the hype. Ethan Ampadu. Right to Archie Gray for Leeds. Back to Rodon. Across to Cooper. Down the left hand side is Byram. Kamara. Back to Ampadu. Goes up the middle. To find that ball out to Dan James. Lewis headed it away. Archie Gray wins it back, and then Dan James leads the throw. Archie Gray wanted a free kick. Looks bemused by the referee's decision, but he does get the throw in, so can't really complain, can he? Rodon. Ampadu. Cooper. I think what I can see here from Leeds is there is a bit of a tweak. Ampadu at times in that first half was a bit more positive as a midfielder, and it allowed the space in behind. Whereas he's dropped a bit deeper, and at times he's kind of having a makeshift back three for Leeds when they're in possession, splitting the two centre backs. Although Archie Gray gets himself in a lot of bother there, spot of bother. Runs into a couple of Watford bodies, and inside his own half and gives the ball away. And Watford have the throw in on the left-hand side. Jamal Lewis really aggressive challenging. Wins the ball off Archie Gray and does really well. Watford have another throw in on the left hand side. 60 minutes gone, so the hour mark is surpassed. 30 minutes to go. Watford 2, Leeds 1. Oh, shot from distance from Porteous, blocked. As Leeds try and spring a counter. Ball down the line. Dan James. In space. Spreads it across. Somerville battling. And didn't get anything. Actually gets a corner out of it. I thought he'd not touched that. There was no touch there from the Watford player. It went down. I think it was Ryan Andrews. It was Andrews charging back towards Somerville. I mean, there's a touch on the hand of Somerville there. So not only does it not be touched by the Watford player, but it's touched by the hand of Crescencio Somerville. Leeds have a corner, quite confusingly. Nonetheless, the corner's being ready to be taken. Imagine if Leeds score from this. Fume. Right-footed delivery by Somerville. Into the mix was Bachmann there. I think he got some sort of connection to it. And now Watford on the break. On the counter-attack. Here comes Jamal Lewis. Now Kayembe looking for the ball across. Gray got in the way of it to block it off, but only for a moment or two as Watford back in possession. The counter-attack comes to an end firmly quickly as Leeds get bodies back into shape. Here's Kayembe though. Down the left. Lays it off to Jamal Lewis on the overlap, and Lewis knows he's not going to get the cross, but he knocks it off Liam Cooper and gets it out for the corner. Again, Jamal Lewis has been fabulous down that left-hand side for Watford. Absolutely fabulous in those attacking areas. I think Leeds are readying a change or two at the moment, so we'll inform you of that when that happens. Spray it over to take this corner for Watford on the left-hand side. Left-footed delivery. Whipped in. Headed up into the mix. And Kayembe met it with his right boot. Hoofed it up. Back into the mix. Still alive, but the header forward bounces in the box and behind for a Leeds goal kick. They're going to make a change then, Leeds. And it's going to be Liam Cooper that's going to come off. So their captain is going to make way. You have to say this is going to be a change in approach from Daniel Farker. Junior Firpo's coming on. So we'll see what way Leeds shape up after this. So Firpo on, Cooper off. And the armband to Ethan Ampadu. So Ethan Ampadu takes over as captain. And it looks like Ampadu will drop into defence. So it's, at the moment, no real change from Leeds. It's still a back four, but just a change in the personnel in the back four at the moment. So Leeds, in terms of personnel, they'd have changed up their defence, but not shape-wise. It's Sam Byram who's moved out to the right-hand side, Junior Firpo on left-back, and then dropping in at centre-back is Ethan Ampadu alongside Joe Rodon. So it looks like Archie Gray has moved into midfield alongside Glenn Kamara. Moved from full-back into midfield to try and have more of an impact, really, I'm guessing, from Daniel Farker's point of view. So a bit of a switch-up in Leeds, because they need to do something. One shot on target in the second half. They've had more possession, they've had more attempts. Nothing to show for it though yet. With 25 or so minutes to go. They need to show something as it's catching that poor pass, and as Firpo gives it away. And the ball in behind here. And Ilan Meilier. Playing dangerously there. Took the risk and it played off for Meilier, who just came running for the ball. Didn't come and grab the ball. Wanted to control the ball with his feet. Very risky one-on-one with a player, but he did. And he won it. And that's all that matters. From a Leeds point of view, that is. For certain. Living dangerously. I think they have to live dangerously. They have to commit a bit more, Leeds, because they are behind. And Watford, I mean, I'm not going to say that Watford don't want a third goal. Of course they would love a third goal, but I don't think they're going to go hell for leather for a third. Watford seems to be a mid to low block at the moment. Mid block, I would say, more than a low block, because they are pressing in the middle a bit more. But they're committing a lot of bodies into midfield, and there's space down the wings. It's about Leeds finding it. Here's Somerville. Finds a pocket of space in the middle. Switches it across to Dan James. Bodies forward here. Dan James looks to eke the space, and Dan James with a shot and comes sliding in was Bamford, but ended up finding the hands of Daniel Bachmann. Goodness me. Nice ball again. Somerville creating the opportunity. Dan James chopping onto his left. Looked to try and side foot it towards the keeper to try and find a corner. More accuracy rather. And Bamford was coming sliding in. Just couldn't reach it in the end, Bamford. Whether he would have been offside or not would have been another question. But in the end, it ended up into the hands of Daniel Bachmann in the Watford goal. But again, Crescencio Somerville is the main kind of creative force for Leeds at the moment. He's the one building the play, creating the opportunities, getting the space to get Leeds on the front foot. No one else really attempting that at the moment. He's the main man, and I think that's why Daniel Farker wants something different in midfield. Add an Archie Gray in there to try and add a bit more creativity in that middle of the park, because at the moment they're struggling from that position, Leeds. That's where Somerville is coming a bit more in field and linking it up a bit more. That's where he's finding a bit more joy. It seems like wherever he's on the pitch, whether it be in the middle or out wide, he's finding joy. As Dan James wins a throw in for Leeds down the right hand side, which Sam Byram will take. Byram has to go back to Rodon. Now to Ampadu. To Firpo. Down the line to Somerville. Back in field to Glenn Kamara. Ampadu again. Rodon. We can't forget, of course, Watford have had the loss of Emmanuel Dennis, who is causing a major threat to Leeds on counter-attacking, occupying a centre-back and really just making them a bit nervy at the back, Leeds. The loss of that for Watford is a huge blow, but they still have that ability. Dan James with a cross. Deflected away, and Watford clear their lines again. Fizzed into the mix there from Dan James, but Watford deal with it. Throw into Leeds. Leeds almost exclusively in Watford's half now. Just slightly in their own half when they receive the ball, but then they're pushing up. Gray. Rodon. Out wide to Sam Byram. Forward to Dan James. And here's Ruter, who just runs into trouble, but cannot get Leeds forward in a good area and just falters possession. Watford throw in there. 21 minutes to go. Watford 2, Leeds 1. Leeds United have to come from behind if they want to retake top spot in the Championship. Unbeaten in the Championship in 2024. That could come to an end tonight if they don't change their ways. They don't change the scoreline, I mean. They've shown a lot more intent in the second half. Still nothing to show for it. 20 minutes to go. Here's Joe Rodon. Back to Melier. Rodon. Sam Byram tries to play it down the line. Deflected. And out for a Leeds throw-in. As it looks like Leeds are going to make another change. And a man who's really struggled to get himself into the game. It looks like Jorginho Rutter will be the change. They're going to make that in a moment. Just not yet, though. But the camera just panned to Rutter, so maybe a hint that that could be the substitution. And Joel Pirout is the man. Is getting ready, receiving some information on the sidelines as Leeds just play it around here. Rodon. Kamara dropping a bit deeper. Help out. Get Leeds on the front foot a bit more. Byram. To Gray. Again, they need to quicken it up a bit, Leeds. There's a spell of so far, about 10-15 minutes ago, where they were fizzing it around. And they were finding spaces. Just a bit slow, Leeds, and Watford patiently waiting for their opportunity. Passing not quick enough at the moment from Leeds, but that's good to break the spaces. Somerville tried to play it forward, but too far forward, that one from Crescencio Somerville, and bounced its way through to Daniel Bachmann. Somerville, who has been massively involved, but I wouldn't say he's been majorly involved in the second half, to say the least. Most of his touches have come out wide, and for this second half, the moments he has been out wide, he hasn't been receiving the ball as much. But when he's coming out further in field, he's had one or two touches, but that's the majority of his impact so far in this second half. More infield than out wide on that left-hand flank, where he had the majority of his touches and possession in that first half. He's been marked more closely now in this second half. Not a surprise with the fact that he did have a major impact in the first half, as Watford, Kone couldn't latch onto that one. Rodon got there just ahead of him, but again Watford almost finding their way in against Leeds. And Leeds win it back, have it back, and then they're just passing it a bit slower. They need a bit of a burst of energy, a burst of kind of something different. Here's Kamara, who himself runs into trouble and is out-muscled by Kayembe. That's just a bit the kind of the killer of the slow ball. You just run into space and there's no movement, and you've got nobody to play it to, as there's an offside flag up there against a Watford player. I think it was Bio. So they're going to make that change now, Leeds. So Rutter is coming off, and Joel Pirout will join Patrick Bamford in a more attacking area. And we'll see what difference that can make to Leeds. With 16.5 minutes to go, plus additional time, they need to turn this deficit around. And an extra attacker, some fresh legs, and a more forward-thinking, not more forward-thinking, more out-and-out attacking striker on the pitch should add that extra bit in the final third that they need. Here's Byram. Pirout to find Gray, linking up with Bamford. Pirout overstepped the ball and gave it away there. Pirout trying to win it back, but beaten past by Bashiru, sorry. And he wanted a free kick, and I was expecting the whistle to come, but the referee didn't blow the whistle. See this again? Skips past his man and then yeah, there's not much in that really. Fair decision by the referee. Here's Rodon. Finds Gray. Down the right hand side is Dan James. Back to Byram. Lovely 1-2 touch football. Gray. Finding Peru, but Peru couldn't find it back to Gray, and Watford clear long as Leeds win it back again. Overstepping and was Kamara, but he did recover the ball just in enough time, in the nick of time. Ampadu, they want to go down the left now, Leeds. Here's Firpo to break down the left, finds Somerville. Back to Firpo, first time ball in field. Here's Somerville, breaks the lines, finds it to Dan James, heavy touch. Breaks down the attack. Heavy touch by Dan James on the edge of the box, and that allows Watford to get it away. Another own problem from Leeds. One back by Byram. Gray to Somerville. Under pressure. Lovely spin. Finds Bamford. Can't take it with him. Bamford still on a battle. Falls to Peru. Cannot control it. And Watford get it away. Pressure from Leeds. Byram gets a cheer from the away crowd, seeing that their side are trying, seeing the initiative and the attempts from their side. 78% possession from Leeds in this second half, dominating the ball. That is more like what we see from Leeds, but so far Watford have done their business in denying Leeds any opportunities. Really, massive opportunities, one or two, but nothing of major concern so far. But here's Peru to try and change that. Spreads it out to the left, finds Firpo. Back in field to Somerville. Trying to break past a few and run into bodies, and the ball will run for Daniel Bachmann. So when they get to the edge of the box, Leeds, they just can't carry it with them. It's like they've got the force field around the Watford 18-yard box. 4 touches in the second half inside the Watford 18-yard box for Leeds. Watford have had more inside Leeds'. 5 touches inside Leeds' 18-yard box have Watford had in the second half, compared to Leeds' 4 in theirs. And Leeds have had 78% of the ball. That doesn't show a defensive idea, and a very well structured defence at that. The fact that they've controlled that area of the pitch for the majority of the time. Just a break and play here as Jamal Lewis is receiving a bit of treatment, so a breakage in play, which I can tell you that don't forget another game for you this Easter weekend, packed full of action. This weekend as Newcastle welcome West Ham United to St James's tomorrow at 12:30. Then that double header of Premier League action on Sunday. Easter Sunday as Liverpool host Brighton at 2, and then the big one, Man City Arsenal at 4:30 on Sunday. Then Easter Monday action as well for you in the Championship. Leicester against Norwich and Leeds against Hull, both on Easter Monday, and then midweek action from the Premier League as well. Jam-packed, wall-to-wall footballing action for you over the next 7 days. As Watford go long, Jamal Lewis is back to his feet after receiving a bit of treatment. Bamford, lovely flick on, finds Firpo. Firpo with the ball just overhead to Peru. Inches ever so tightly close, but that was Bamford coming deeper, linking up with Firpo. One of the first times I've really seen that from Bamford in the game, where he's come deeper and really got involved in the build-up rather than holding the ball up in the middle. And the ball through to Peru, just slightly overhit, literally minimally overhit, but that was the difference. But again, more promising signs for Leeds, just slightly off, but they get it right once, they could be in. And it only takes one opportunity, it only takes one moment, one attack to get themselves back onto this game, back level, and at a chance of trying to further their chances. As Watford are going to make a change then at the moment, so the change is going to come, and it's going to be Yasser Asprilla who's going to make way. So Asprilla coming off. He gets a round of applause from the home crowd, and he's going to be replaced by Thomas Ince. So Yasser Asprilla off and Thomas Ince on for Watford. Their second substitution of the game. as we have just around 10 minutes plus additional time to go at Vicarage Road on this Good Friday night. Watford leading by 2-1. Leeds need all 3 points to head back to the top of the Championship table. Anything else, and Ipswich will lead the way after today's action. Ampadu. Somerville is passing it back to trying to pass it back to Ampadu. Gives it away, Somerville. He does well to intercept and Tom Ince's pass, and that goes out for a Watford throw. Needs to be a rescue job for Leeds. Not been at their best today. But the best sides win despite not being at their best. But so far it seems like Leeds are making a real hard work of it. Watford making it even harder for them. Defending ever so resolutely, Watford. They have the lead. They know what they need to hold on to. It's all about Leeds and what they can do to change that. If they can turn it all around, they will be back at the top. But that is if, buts and maybes really at this stage. Still have the work to do. Kayembe. Forward to Bayo, but heavy touch by him. And then trying to win the ball back, fouls Glenn Kamara, which gives Leeds the free kick. Leeds need to up the tempo, up the pace of the game a bit more. It's just a bit slow. A couple of times we said it, Leeds' passing has been a bit slow. It's not been quick enough. Just allowing Watford to sit in, shuffle across every time that Leeds play the ball, and they're not really rushed to positions. Watford, they're comfortable. Leeds just need to take them out of that comfort zone, because otherwise they're just going to be playing it around for the next 8-10 minutes and nothing's going to happen. Ampadu through the lines, finds Somerville down the left hand side, cross from Firpo, fizzed one in, and Sierralta with the block and cleared away by Matthew Pollock, and out for the Leeds through around the halfway line. Back in by Ampadu, rode on to Byram. Now Peru chops onto his left, linking it up. Peru again. Kamara cross to Gray. Now Firpo trying to find the ball forward. Can only see yellow bodies in his wake. Here's Byram. Rolled out to Dan James on the right. Almost undercut him as the ball behind. Kamara tried to make the run, but Watford had it all covered as they fire it away for a Leeds throw in again. It's just defence against attack at the moment. I think Leeds are going to make another double change here to try and change their fortunes. So Sam Byram's going to make way. And coming on in his place will be Jaden Anthony. And the second substitution is going to be Glenn Kamara, and he's going to be replaced by Matteo Joseph. So Glenn Kamara and Sam Byram making way for Jaden Anthony and Matteo Joseph. So attacking changes for Leeds. Have to throw caution to the wind. They need to go for it even more than they did earlier in the game. They need to throw it all at Watford now. Here's Somerville. He's got lots of bodies in the middle. It's very clustered. Bouncing around, and it's over the line. And it's Matteo Joseph with his first touch. A splattering of Leeds bodies in the box. Watford couldn't get it away, and through a sheer amount of numbers from Leeds, they force it over the line. And with his first touch, seconds after coming onto the pitch, Matteo Joseph gives Leeds the equaliser again. It's Somerville again. Just makes that run down the left-hand side. Gets past his man. cuts it across, it runs all the way through, and Joseph for the first touch blocked, and he's just there to follow it up again and force it over the line past Daniel Bachmann. And Leeds, instant response to those substitutions, and it's 2-2, and Leeds have only one thing on their mind now, and that's winning this. And they've got lots of bodies to try and do that, lots of players to try and do that now. They're committing a lot of bodies forward, and this, there's enough time, more than enough time, 4.5 minutes plus the additional time, to get a winner for Leeds United. As it stands, a draw would still not be enough to take them top. They would be a point ahead of Leicester, but they would not be top of the table. They would be a point behind Ipswich with a draw. But here comes Somerville again, back in the business. Bounced out, falls. Oh, what a save. Jayden Anthony with a shot. Big save by Bachmann. But again, it's that run down the left-hand side. It's Somerville again, carving Watford open. Takes the shot from the narrow angle himself. Bachmann makes the save, rebounds back out of Jayden Anthony, takes it with his right foot, and Bachmann down to his left to parry it wide for the corner. There's a lot of bodies in the box for Leeds. It's like 5 or 6 players in and around the 6-yard box. There's lots of them. Sheer amount of numbers. Corner for Leeds. Dan James to take. Right-footed delivery. High one to the back post. Flicked on by Ampadu, kept alive. Flicked back into the mix, but Bachmann gets up to get the catch and try and get Watford up the pitch. But that kick intercepted by Leeds, and they have the ball back again. It's 3 minutes plus additional time. Watford 2, Leeds 2. Ball over the top. Runners being made by Jayden Anthony. Cuts it back to Dan James. Dan James running across the pitch. Plays it across to Firpo. Nice Somerville. Up against Andrews. Goes infield this time and runs into trouble. And Ryan Andrews does a great job at stopping Somerville there. And he'll get the throw in for Watford. Goodness me. Late drama action at Vicarage Road. Watford had held the lead all the way through the second half up to that point, until Mateo Joseph forced it over the line for Leeds to level the game. Bouncing ball from the throw-in. Spaces open up here for Leeds if they can force a counter-attack. Here's Dan James. Try and get them forward. Back to Rodon. Wonder how long will be added on to the end of the 90. We will find out fairly shortly, as the travelling Leeds fans sing Marching On together in unison to try and spur their side on to 3 points. A 3 points that could be huge in the title race. Free kick there from Leeds, straight back to Watford. Missed opportunity that. As here's Thomas Ince. Well, his first real run at the Leeds defence, but they have double coverage over their Leeds, and they'll win the free kick. But they're not going to be allowed to take it quickly, because Watford want to make a change, and they're going to make that change now, Watford. So it's Bayo who opened the scoring for Watford tonight. Got the scoring underway, gave Watford the early lead, and he's going to be replaced by Mileta Rajovic. So Mileta Rajovic coming on for Watford for the dying seconds, the dying moments. But Tom Cleverley's side, they just see this one out maybe. Can they hang on to 2-2? Ball in behind. Here is Joseph again, battling in the middle. Went down, but all over him were the Watford players, but he made that lovely run in behind. just tried to chop back and run into trouble there, and just got in a bit of a scramble, and a bit of a battle, and Watford got it away. As we have surpassed the 90, and as we come to the end of the 90 minutes, we will have 5 added minutes. 5 more. 5 minutes for Leeds to try and get a winner. A winner that would take them back to the summit, back to the top, back to where they want to be. Just as Leeds are down to 10 for the moment, because Junior Firpo's just gone off to change his boots. But, I mean, it's a bit late for that. As Leeds scrambling to make sure they don't lose the game as Bamford helps out and Leeds on the attack. Here's Mateo Joseph on the run. Sierralta on the cover. Sierralta has to clear it away. Kept in play, though. Here's Peru. Archie Gray. Ampadu. De Rodon now. On the halfway line. Here's Archie Gray. Leeds have committed a mountain of bodies forward. As Firpo, I think, is back to on the pitch now as well. So back to 11 on the field, Leeds now. After that momentary loss of a player, there is Firpo. Lays it off to Bamford, who was held firmly there. And it's just a bit much for the referee, and it will be a free kick to Leeds United. Battling with Matthew Pollock there, and having a bit of a giggle about that. The two opposing players. As Leeds take the free kick again. Couple of minutes to go in added time. Leeds have done it before in added time. They've left it late multiple times before. They've left it late this time, but can they get that winner? It could be huge for them. They do get the throw-in off Ryan Porteous. 3 minutes to go of the added time. Jadon Anthony wins it high. And he'll not take this throw-in. Dan James wasn't going to take throw-in either. Joe Rodon's going to take it. He's going to go long. Ethan Ampadu's going to take it. And he's going to go long, I think. Although there's a Watford player down. What the hell's that? Ryan Porteous. I've no idea what's happened. A real scramble in the box. There's a lot of bodies pushing away, and Ryan Porteous is on the floor. I've no idea what's happened. Just waiting on the throw-in, and the camera cuts back, and we're looking at Ryan Porteous on the ground. Get a replay. We'll see this again. Oh, come on. It's just a bit of a coming together between him and Jadon Anthony, and he crying his luck here. Ryan Porteous just needs to get on with it. Like, come on. Get a grip of yourself. Nonetheless, throw into Leeds. He's still arguing with the referee. Ryan Porteous. The referee's now having a chat. So there's just a bit of a delay here for the moment. Ethan Ampadu's not particularly happy. On the sidelines, taking his time to wait for the throw-in as Jadon Anthony just smiling nicely at the referee there. Taking in all as what he's been told. With a sarcastic smile. The referee, Ethan Ampadu's ready to take this long throw. Here it comes. Throw-in comes in. To the mix. Bouncing around. Watford do get it away. Half clear it. Firpo. Somerville. Back to Firpo. On the left-hand side. Somerville again. Looking for a hopeful ball in. Headed away. Here's Archie Gray. He's going to whip one in. Whipped in. Just over the head of Bamford and cleared away by Watford. As they try and get themselves up the pitch to take the pressure off their defence. And a break down the left-hand side. Here's Thomas Ince. And Lewis just slipped there, which broke up the attack. And now there's space for Leeds on the break. Although, almost caught in possession there was Dan James. Got in a muddle with Jadon Anthony, and now Watford will get a free kick as Dan James just left the challenge in on a player there. Ryan Porteous. So a free kick to Watford. I have to say, they always give you an exciting end, Leeds. They never let this games die out. They always keep it entertaining till the very last second, the very last minute. And I would say, Leeds will be much happier with a draw. Of course they will. Out of the two teams, they'd be the happier of the two with a draw. Because the fact of the matter is, they were expecting to win this one, but Watford on the night might have deserved more than just a draw, although there's still time for the result to change as Anthony bodied away by Ryan Porteous, and the referee's not going to allow the advantage to be played because Dan James was running towards it. Porteous is penalised for just absolutely bodying Jadon Anthony nowhere near the ball. This will be a free kick to Leeds, maybe one of the last chances here for the visitors to try and win it very late on. Will be Jadon Anthony who won the free kick. He will take the free kick. It has to be now or never really for Leeds United. They want to head back to the top of the Championship table tonight. They're going to need to try and get a winner here. Anthony with a cross all the way in. Watford get it away, not fully cleared. Somerville battling around as Watford clear the lines again, but only as far as a throw-in. Somerville crying for a handball. Daniel Farker's calling for handball. I don't know what's going on. I don't think there is a handball anywhere, not that I could have seen, but Leeds have another throw-in. Ampadu to go long. Ampadu, one last chance. Ball in. Flicked on and away, actually, from their own attack, and that's it. Ipswich are top of the table. After the action of the day, they are the only team in the top 3 to win. Only team in the top 5 to win this afternoon on Good Friday. And it is a huge 1-0 win in the end for Ipswich. Leicester beaten. Leeds not winning, dropping points on the road. And it is Ipswich that are top of the table after Good Friday's action. Their 1-0 win away at Blackburn. Leeds did get a late equalizer but couldn't push it over the line to try and get a winner that would have taken them back top of the table. And it's as tight as it could be inside the top of the Championship. Ipswich on 84, Leeds on 83, Leicester on 82. But remember, Leicester has a game in hand on the two teams above them, so it could get even tighter as we head towards the final 7 games of the Championship season. A cracker again at Vicarage Road. Not the result that Daniel Farker would have wanted, but in the end, probably a positive result in the end, considering they weren't anywhere near their best tonight, Leeds. Watford were excellent. They probably might have deserved more than just a point, but in the end, Tom Cleverley's side will take a point and say that they fought ever so hard against one of the best teams in the Championship and got a result against them. Leeds dominated the second half. Were slow and a bit not as exciting at times in the second half, but they did get that all-important equalising goal. They would have wanted a winner, but it wasn't to be tonight, and it's an ever so good Friday for Ipswich Town. Leeds United and Leicester both dropping points on the road. Ipswich get all 3, and it bundles its way towards Easter Monday when all 3 are at home, and all 3 go again as they try and swap places to take top spot. It all started with Leicester losing at Bristol City this afternoon. Results top and bottom all the way through. Ipswich got the winner against Blackburn through Conor Chaplin, and a late equaliser from Matteo Joseph rescued a point for Leeds on the road against Watford at Vicarage Road. That is how Good Friday has gone in the Championship. 12 wonderful games, very different results, very different scorelines, and very different outcomes for all the teams involved. But one thing is for certain, we will pump our way towards Monday. Another round of 12 to come. 12 games to come on Monday, and it can all change once again. The beauty of a double game weekend. On Easter Monday, it is certainly going to continue. But for tonight, it is Ipswich that lead the way in the Championship. Good night.
Catch me if I fall.